Hey, it's Tuesday morning and it's 8 o'clock, and we got our coffee going, and we're glad that you're with us. Uh, Going to talk a little bit about school.
Ugh,
Not that either one of us really remember.
so
Uh,
long ago.
it was a long, long time ago,
It
and
was.
I spent a lot of time in the hallway because I used to get kicked out of class off. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
But we
man.
we
Yes,
we we
school.
started talking a little bit about what the kids are, what their day is like now. Luke goes to school. I got a grandson that's in middle
Yeah,
school, and
yeah.
when I ask him about what's going on in school, it doesn't sound anything like school that we went to.
Well, you either get two answers. You either get oh nothing,
Right.
or they break it down for you. You
Or
know, at
okay, it
least
was
with
okay.
Luke, like because he's still learning the basics. His brain is still developing.
Right.
So right now, his big thing is writing and spelling, and we're working on reading, um, which I love. I'm in. I'm all in. I can help him out. That's my
Yeah.
sweet spot. And I give him props. And all of us like to think our kids are great, but I give him props. He is able. It's just amazing to me the leaps and bounds from what we practice. Then he took that to kindergarten, and then now he's writing his words. It's great. But man, there's some things that I sit there and I hear about, especially with the older kids. I'm like, what is this? Like the way they do math now, forget it. I'm out. Even if I come up with the right answer, it's wrong because you got to show your work. And I'm like, what
Well,
is this crap?
that's one area. I mean, math used to be a brain exercise. Today, I think it's a finger exercise. It's
Well, I
just what
mean,
what you can what you can put into the computer, or into a calculator or so. We had to actually, use
do
our
the problem.
brains to solve problems. And
Yeah.
I'm that's slipping away, and AI is going to probably make the brain obsolete anyway.
Well, it's
Uh,
interesting to me because like they want you to show the work, but all the work's done on a calculator. They want you to explain how you got it. So like when I was helping out, like this is how you do it, it was wrong. The answer was right, but because of how I got the answer was wrong. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Because all they're doing is teaching these kids how to do the STAR test so the schools can get more money. It's not really learning. Because let's be real, guys, I'm 45, and I know there's a lot of jobs out there that require, a lot more brain activity than what's in my head. But the reality of it is, half that math stuff you are never, ever, ever going to use. And you don't even have to know how to do it. I know that sounds awful. There's a teacher out there that's angry, but it's true.
No, you're right, because even those kids that end up getting their first job at a restaurant or a store or whatever, they've got a computerized, scanning type of a checkout terminal. All they got to do is press a button to read a barcode, puts it on there, and then everything adds up. And if there's a discount involved, you press the 20% off discount button. You don't have to figure out what 20%
Nah,
off was.
you don't. You really don't.
But the key is, if the computer goes down, there isn't a cashier around that I know that can do a manual transaction.
That's the biggest problem too. Or they're trying to figure out how to make change. And they don't understand. And this is where I think schools screw up the most in. And we've said it, and maybe some schools have. We need to teach kids more. Like, why are we waiting until it's too late to teach kids about budgeting? Why are we waiting for it's too late to teach kids about taxes? Not how much taxes on your product that you buy, but taxes.
Right.
Probably because it's corrupt anyway, and we don't want to know about it. But to pay your taxes, or what? Why are we waiting so long to teach kids about retirement and stocks and this? Like, that is what we absolutely should be doing. And there's some of that stuff when you look at it, oh, it's in college. Well, by then they're already screwed. They've already created patterns where they are wasting money. They're in credit card debt. They should be saving for their college and their retirement at Luke's age.
Yeah,
Not at 21.
yeah, you're right. And going back to ancient times when I went to school, I mean, I remember we had a class called civics, and civics was a whole semester long of how your local government worked. You know, how the Secretary of State's office worked, and what the mayor did, and the vice mayor, and all the different branches of local government. And then you would learn about it at the state level and the federal level. Today, I don't even know what the class is called, but it's a few hours of this and a few hours of that, and you don't really learn about your stuff that you're really going to need when you grow up to understand how your government is operating. And again, you talk about budgets. I mean, you know, if you don't understand what's going on, how are you going to trust somebody to go and represent your interests at the you know, the federal level?
Well, the other thing too is like you can't explain a budget and teach a budget and talk about taxes and we had stuff where we talked about the different branches of the government, of course, and all that. We didn't talk about the Secretary of State or anything like that, but
Yeah.
But my thing is, if you're not teaching that, how do you expect these kids to vote in a way that makes sense for the country if they don't even know half of the discussion that they're getting into?
Yeah. And just like we learned to balance a checkbook, you don't have to do that anymore. Number one,
nobody has that anymore.
You pay with Apple Pay or Venmo or something, so you don't have to worry about actually deducting something from your account. It's all done automatically.
But they should teach the banking system, at least the banking aspect of, fine, you use Apple Pay. Well, you still have an account with X amount of dollars. Now it's subtracted Y. So what's this? Or whatever, you know what I mean? And
just basic accounting. I mean, eventually you're going to have to prepare your taxes at the end of the year. You're either going to go out and buy a TurboTax program and just feed everything in, which I guarantee you're going to overlook stuff that like itemization and everything. Kids won't know about that kind of stuff.
No, they won't. And one of the other things too, like I remember home ec class. We made things. I don't know if well, first off, they don't call it that anymore, but if they have it, but we made things. We had two different aspects of home ec. The first part of it was in 8th grade. Was it 8th grade? We had sewing. Now, granted, I don't remember how to do it. I don't really care, but I did make a pillow and we sewed it. And then we had cooking and we made stuff. We did baking and then we cooked. Now, again, I'm not saying that aspect is huge, but some of these kids probably don't even know how to use an oven, dude.
And you're absolutely right, because today the kids all know how to use a microwave. Because
but like to really cook for themselves when they get out. Mommy and daddy are cooking for me. I was different. Like I knew how to cook and I would just dive in, and I may not have learned how to cook a lot, but I could cook a few things. And so at least it was cooking, and then you experiment. But some of these kids are like, yeah, I didn't know that you had to like boil the pasta. I thought you just put it in the oven. And it's like, I mean, like it blows my mind.
Sure. You're absolutely right. I mean, I remember that they would teach you about how to use an oven, because the oven, you had to set temperatures. Well, why? There were certain things that would cook faster or whatever at certain temperatures. So that was part of home ec. I remember that. I also remembered learning how to fry eggs and then scramble eggs and make a frittata.
It's simple things, survival. These are survival things.
That's right.
it shouldn't be like, yes, granted, you might have parents and whatever, but it should be a survival thing because isn't school to prepare people for the real world? I mean,
Right.
isn't that what we're doing here? I don't need to learn this nonsense. And then the other thing, like, what about like we used to have shop class and make stuff. We
Yep.
used to also have automotive was part of shop. They taught you how to change a tire. They
You're
taught
right.
you how to jumpstart a car. This is not some like mind altering like things. I'm not like Elon Musk trying to do a Tesla.
No.
These are things that anybody who drives should know how to do it. Sure, you got AAA. Sure, you got those companies. But what if you got no signal? What if you're in the middle of nowhere and you got to change a tire? And your parents don't show you because maybe they rely on everybody else to do it for them. You got to learn how to do that.
And you know, I think when we were growing up, most of us, at least, our parents told us, if you want a car, you have to learn how to operate it.
Oh, that's
And like
absolutely
to check the oil. I wonder how many kids actually know where a dipstick is under the hood of a car and know how to check the oil level in the car.
Well, here's another thing too. We want to talk about the things aren't there anymore. Driver's ed is not in schools anymore.
You're right. Yes.
We had it where we would go after class, after school, and it was a legitimate driver's ed class. That's how I got my license. Now you rely on the parents and you got to pay. You got to pay a separate class to go through. I mean, and it's like a couple $100.
And in our day, they had a health class. And
Yes.
that's when you really started to learn a little bit about reproduction and all that kind of stuff. Today, there's a movement to try and throw that out of the school system.
That's when we learned it. I thought we just went to football games and learned it,
Well,
figured it out ourselves.
under the bleachers and in the back seat
Yeah,
of a
or
Chevy.
whatever. But
Listen to
yeah, there
Von
is a
Seer.
health thing. Yeah, and I remember like we used to have to take this form home and get our parents this, and then they would separate the girls and the boys because they were talking about girl stuff, which is kind of funny, really, because I almost feel like, and I know it might be embarrassing for some girls to have the boys there at that age, but I almost feel like boys should probably learn some of that too. You know what I mean? Like, because it is all connected, you know?
By the time the boys learn about it, the girls already know.
Yeah, that's true. They're like, dude, we've been dealing with this for a while now. You're
And
late to the game.
Another thing, do kids dissect frogs anymore?
No, they don't. I think I remember my son's sisters. No, I don't think so. I think it's all on the computer. I think it's like virtual dissection. We had frozen frogs and we had a pig's brain and a couple other weird things.
Earthworms.
Yeah, I do remember cutting open earthworms. That was sometimes they would squirt. You know, at least the frogs were frozen, so you'd peel it back. But
and they smelled horrible.
Oh yeah, but they don't do anything. But then again, most of these kids, they don't do field trips anymore either.
No, but I mean, chemistry, physics, a lot of the stuff that you learned, you weren't going to use in everyday life, but somewhere along the line, what you were exposed to in school came to play at one point in your life. I mean, I honestly don't know what the curriculum is in the school. I know my grandson, everything he has is on a computer pad.
I don't know either. I mean, it's different for Luke. They do use the iPads and computers in school, but he is sent home a folder every day, and he's got a subfolder of certain projects. Right now is the reading and what to focus on. He had an art thing he had to do the other day.
That was another class, art appreciation.
Well, here's the funny thing. Luke had Spanish in preschool, which was great. He doesn't have it in kindergarten. And I'm like, now's the time. Now is the time.
Now, that's something that we didn't have. We didn't have a foreign language options at a young age. It wasn't until I think we got to either middle school, which is
ours was middle
junior
school.
high,
ours was middle school.
That you
well, here's the thing that doesn't make sense though. Why start it in preschool and not do it in kindergarten. This is the time for them to absorb. He's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But I guess it comes back in first grade, and I'm like, y'all are confusing me, man. We had it in high school, or what we had three choices: French, Spanish, and German.
In German. Yeah.
And then right when I got out, they added Japanese.
In our school, I think they added Latin.
Ain't nobody does Latin anymore.
You know, if you're going to be a priest, you need it.
To be a pope, yeah. You know, to take out vampires. No, I swear it was Japanese, Korean, something like that. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now they're teaching Arabic and they're teaching Farsi,
which is cool.
Yeah, Russian.
But it should be at a young age when their brains are absorbent. It's so much easier for Luke to learn a language than us, you know.
Or today, you could go out and you can invest in a little device that you just say something in English and push a button and it translates it, you know, verbally into whatever language you want.
Yeah, Google Translator.
Yeah, you know.
But like, here's the other thing too. They're so worried about like our kids, you know, learning stuff, but they take that away, but they go ahead and put a Chick-fil-A in their lunchroom.
Yeah.
That's more important, you know, like thank God they got their Chick-fil-A. Otherwise, you know.
Yeah. Or the kids all have DoorDash, you know, they just order something and have it delivered to school.
So ridiculous. Well, and we didn't want to take their phones away because they might need them. Yeah, because you guys put all this stuff and make them download all these apps and you wonder why they're on their phone all day. Then you get mad that they're on their phone all day.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm surprised hasn't kind of carried over is we used to take typing class to learn how to use a typewriter.
So we did that. Well, nobody's using typewriters anymore.
Well, we don't use typewriters, but everybody uses a keyboard. And
not everybody.
Is basically a typewriter.
Not everybody.
Well, you use the audio version, right?
No, not even that. No, I mean, think about it. Look at a real keyboard on your computer.
Yep.
Okay. That's fine. You might have that on the laptop. Not if you have a Mac. They got the digital keyboard right there. It's vastly different. When I text, I'm a one thumb guy. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So most of the people on tablets, no keyboards.
Yeah. Well, or now for texting, you can push the microphone button and you can just say, you know, meet you at 8:00. Period.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's
bring
no
a sweater.
reason,
period. You know,
there's really no reason unless you're in, like, you are applying for a job that requires you to type and do so many words. They don't even test you on how many words per minute you can do anymore.
Right. So
I don't know.
It's changed quite a bit.
Yes.
You know, just like the preparation for our show, that's changed over the years.
Yeah, I used to prepare. Now I don't.
Or it has, yeah, has it? No,
I used to write notes. Now I just come on here and stop.
That's what we've learned how to do. We've learned how to just wing it.
Occasionally I have notes, especially if we're getting very specific about things.
Yeah,
it's a very specific show, but you know me, man. I'm ready to roll.
That's right. Just 3, 2, 1, camera.
Yeah.
You know,
do it.
I'm
like Michael Jordan. Okay, I come in, I sink my shot, I win. I'm very similar, you know.
Just do the job, or what my father used to say: the 3 B's: be brief, be brilliant, and be gone.
Well, I don't know about brief. I'm definitely not brief, but yeah, the other two maybe. You know, I'm like the Detroit Lions when they beat the Bears. You know,
oh yeah. That happens more often than we know.
Or when Michigan State beats Indiana on one of their worst years, but you know, it's okay. We'll just keep going.
The Detroit Lions are in first place in the division.
Let's keep knocking on wood, guys. Come on, baby.
Yeah, and you wonder how Stafford feels about that.
Hey, he's fine. He's made his money.
Hey,
you know what though? We don't know. By the time this show, guys, in case you don't know, anything could have happened. We don't know. We don't know. So,
well, anyway. We hope this has been an educational show for you, because it sure as hell hasn't been for us.
No, not at all.
but go on, have a good day and join us again next week too. Okay. Bye.